What up fishing fans, it's your boy Mad Bear Angler, and today is the first episode of Before You Buy It. So for today's episode, we're going to talk about the Kingdom MICROFLY MV6 BFS bait casting reel. If you want to take a look of the unboxing and my first impressions, it's here. So today we're going to talk about the battle testing results and my findings of using the Kingdom MICROFLY MV6 bait casting reel. Before we proceed, let me just mention a few disclaimers. Number 1, this is not a sponsored video from Kingdom. Number 2, I bought the reel using my own money. Number 3, everything that you will hear are my thoughts and opinions regarding this specific reel that I have purchased. And number 4, I am not in any way whatsoever a professional tackle advisor. With all that said and done, let's get to it. We will be basing our reviews on 4 categories, which are design, comfort, performance, and price. Highest score for each category would be 5 Mad Bears, lowest would be 1 Mad Bear. Every category I will start with the pros and end with the cons. For design, let's start with the pros. The Kingdom MICROFLY MV6 is by far one of the nicest looking paint job for a BFS reel, if not the nicest looking paint job from a CDM manufacturer I have ever seen. Color scheme is matte blue with copper crank knobs and trims. Very unique color choice from the usual gunmetal gray black color palette. Small, sleek, and easy on the eyes. The main chassis, side plate, and spool plate appears to be plastic. Knobs are metal, and the crank arm is carbon. According to the Kingdom's official store in Shopee, the line guide is made of porcelain titanium. The MICROFLY has a spool weight of 7.8 grams. It has double imported NMB bearings for both the mag brake side and the spool side. For the design cons, although the paint job is a very unique take, the frame, however, looks like a mismatch between the 2017 Daiwa Tatula for the main body with a spool plate for Abu Garcia Revo SX. The brake knob is very similar to an Abu Garcia reel. What makes the side plate almost unique is the indentation, as you can see here, which is very similar to what Daiwa or Shimano has, although different in orientation. The crank handle and knobs resembles the light crank knobs from a Chinese brand called EK Fan. If memory serves me correctly, Gomexus at one point had something similar. Another thing that I noticed would be the crank knobs. It has a give that feels like something's very loose inside and the knob itself might take off any second. I also noticed the gap between the spool and the chassis. For line, I was using the ASO Light Games 3-ply with a diameter of 0.02 mil and it got caught inside. Another thing I noticed is the crank handle. There's quite a play, as you can see here. It's very evident if you hold the spool with your hand and then play with the crank handle a little bit. So it's a bit loose upon construction or the pinion and the crank gear are not in a tight fit. And lastly, what's with the MV6 logo? What does it mean? I tried to do some research about what it means, but there's no information on the Kingdom official website. The MICROFLY is also no longer part as the Kingdom's current bait casting reel roster. I'm not a big fan of putting information in the reel with no meaning behind it. It felt like it's just a part of a hype. So for scoring, I would give this reel a full 5 Mad Bears for its fresh and sleek looking color scheme, only to be pulled down by its lack of design originality. For me, design score would be 2.5 Mad Bears. Let's now go to comfort. For pros, this reel is lightweight. There's pretty much no point sections in this reel, so it's very easy to palm, and since I'm a guy with small hands, this is an advantage. Crank handle rotation is smooth with no hiss. The smoothness of the crank handle rotation is very similar to those mainstream branded reels. Reel weight is only 138 grams, which is very good for long casting sessions. Now, for the cons, the crank knobs. Since the knobs are made of some metal, the Kingdom's online shop did not indicate the material that was used, and I also confirmed that it's metal since it's cold to the touch. This will definitely get slippery when exposed to organic material like fish slime. All in all, I'm scoring it 4 Mad Bears. Let's now go to performance. For pros, with the proper setting, this can cast light lures or jig heads weighted 1 gram to 5 grams comfortably, probably even lower if equipped with the right rod. I had problems at first, but with little adjustments to the spool tension knob and brakes,
I can cast with little to no issues. Another pro is the line guide. When spooling bait casters, I normally put more line on one side near the end of the spooling to check if the line guide is accurate. After my fishing trip, my line is now equally distributed in the spool. Another pro that we need to mention is the mag brakes. At least in my copy, the MICROFLY reel feels the same with the Daiwa's mag brakes. You can actually feel the difference when adjusting the brakes through casting. When getting backlashes, 2 clicks of the brake always gets the job done. Another pro would be the gear ratio. With a 6.5:1 gear ratio, I feel like this is quite fast for a BFS reel, which are designed for slow fishing or fishing pressured spots. Sometimes I find it way too fast. One big advantage of having a high-speed gear ratio is you can quickly retrieve the line and cast it back to the strike zone. The only con that I have experienced with my copy of the MICROFLY is the star drag. In bait casters, usually a point of drag is measured by a click. The MICROFLY star drag tends to glide over the clicker every now and then. Very evident when you're turning the drag star very slowly. So far, its performance is way above average. With that, I'm still scoring the MICROFLY 4 Mad Bears. And lastly, let's now go to price. For pros, with a tag price of 2,600 pesos off Shopee, links in the description, it's along the price range with its other competitive CDM BFS reels like the Fishband GH100, the Turinoya Spirit Fox, and the Kyorin Black Knight. To be honest, the price to performance with this reel is actually quite great. For cons, there isn't really much to say for cons given the price range. Nowadays, any decent angler would usually shy away from CDM products due to their shady manufacturing processes. With this reel, Kingdom proves that not all CDM products are the same. True, it has some quirks, but it's way overshadowed by its performance. So for price, I'm scoring this reel 4.5 Mad Bears. So just to recap, I'm scoring the MICROFLY design 2.5 Mad Bears. For comfort, that will be 4 Mad Bears. For performance, that will be also 4 Mad Bears. And for price, it's 4.5 Mad Bears. So now leaving the average score for the Kingdom MICROFLY MV6 bait casting reel would be 3.75 Mad Bears. Alright, so that is pretty much it. That is my entire review of the Kingdom MICROFLY MV6 BFS bait casting reel. If you want to purchase this said reel, I'll put a link in the description down below. If you like these kinds of videos and more, go ahead and click on like, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and click on that bell notification icon so you won't miss on the next Before You Buy video. Alright, so once again, I'm your boy Mad Bear Angler. Peace, tight lines.